And we're live.
All right, good stuff.
I think we're good here. Welcome, everyone, to the 2L Pucks Hockey Chat for November 17th. Welcome.
Yeah, looking good once again. I'm looking better, but you're looking good. So yeah, we kind of took the week off, busy schedules, and we can afford to do that because we're not getting paid for this. So wanted to make sure we got some things in here for the week. Let everybody know that we didn't forget about you.
I am going to, due to feeling a little bit under the weather, I am going to definitely take a back seat and ride shotgun on this one, Scotty, and you can definitely run point on this, and I will jump in when necessary. When you start, floundering,
All right,
flopping around, I'll come in and save everybody.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So.
So, how would you like to start off this evening?
Well, we can let's start off with the Colorado Avalanche, and earlier this week, actually, I think it was just yesterday, I should say. Um, the Avalanche able to pull out a win 5-4 over Vancouver, but the problem with that game was when forward Matt Calvert took a shot in the head from pretty much point blank range, was down on the ice and was bleeding, and the officials didn't stop the play.
Yeah.
So the rule book says, when a player's injured and he can't go on, the play won't be stopped until his team gets the puck. And so the officials didn't blow it dead. There is a provision in that rule, and this is 8.1. It says, in the case where it is obvious the player has sustained a serious injury, the referee and or the linesman may stop play immediately. So, the explanation that was given was that the Avalanche didn't regain possession or never gained possession of the puck, so the officials never stopped. So I can see kind of two sides to this. One, we definitely have a league that has some folks that like to go down, embellish a little bit. And so the officials obviously would be, they're in a hard spot as to whether or not they're going to kill a play in the case of embellishment, because I got to tell you, you get guys on the ice, they've been there for an extended shift, they're hemmed in their own zone, nothing stopping them from somebody playing sick just to get a stoppage in play.
Right.
So there always is that potential. On the other hand, though, you have a guy who's down, who's bleeding. I mean, there's blood on the ice, and the officials, they're having to watch the game. But I think there just needs to be some more attention, perhaps taken towards this kind of an injury and this kind of a situation. Maybe modify the rules so that if the injured player isn't really injured, it was a dive. They really enforce that with, say, a major, as opposed to a minor for diving. So certainly, player safety is a big deal, and I've always been of the opinion that when the best players aren't in the game, we don't have the best game on the ice. And so. And it wasn't the first time this week that a player took a puck to the face.
Yeah.
So certainly, there's any number of things. You could go with full visors or shields or things like that. But at the end of the day, I definitely think the NHL needs to revisit this. Players down and blowing plays dead, and really give the officials a way out so that they're not as hesitant to make the call.
Were there any statements made after that game in that specific example from the other night that the referees put out to justify their course of action?
You'll never have a referee make a statement after a game.
Well, not the referee, but the NHL or the referee. So the NHL on behalf of the referees put something out to explain it.
Typically, no, there wasn't anything that I saw, and typically the league isn't going to make any kind of a statement unless it was egregious. And I got to be honest with you, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the league not second guessing the referees in most cases, especially a situation like that. But players understand, coaches understand the rule. But application is subjective, and
Right.
it's a fast game, and you kind of got to give them a break a little bit. But um, if it was a superstar, though, if it was an Alex Ovechkin or a Steven Stamkos or a Sidney Crosby, would the referees be a little bit more inclined to blow the whistle?
I think the other night was the first time Tom Wilson didn't get punished for decking the heck out of someone
Yeah,
because he decked his own player,
yep, that's true.
Ovechkin. So
That's
that was a big hit, and Ovechkin definitely had his bell rung. He was sitting there on the bench trying to shake that one off for a while. Tom Wilson's not a small man, but yeah. No, listen, I think it's I think for the most part the referees have been pretty good with this. Why this specific example happened, it kind of blew my mind a little bit. It was definitely something that seemed to me a little bit out of the ordinary.
Yeah, again, the referees have to be given discretion to make the calls on the ice, but it's just something for the league to look at, and it was a big deal, and it's on
Yeah.
it's on TV.
Yep.
Folks are seeing it at home, and
Yep.
maybe people didn't understand why the play wasn't blown dead.
Right. All right.
So yeah, so it's interesting that you brought up Tom Wilson and Alex Ovechkin just real quick. So there was a hit during a Montreal game where Alex Ovechkin lined up and just flat out leveled Jonathan Drouin
Yeah.
of the Canadiens. Um, I'll just say this: Ovechkin is a prolific scorer. He makes the game exciting, but the guy, in my opinion, charges with almost every hit. He leaves his feet with almost every hit. And so he has a reputation. He's been called for it. He's been suspended for it in the past. So I can certainly understand people, especially Montreal fans, looking at that hit, and even the players looking at that hit and saying, hey, that wasn't a good hit. But plays like that happen. Claude Julien of the Canadiens, basically said that he was okay with the hit, didn't target his head, and so I think that's important to note. But that was definitely a big hit.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
All right, moving right along, sir.
yeah. So let's kind of change it up with a positive note. Jack Eichel.
Yeah,
Jack
dude.
Eichel of the Buffalo Sabres.
What a night he had the other night.
Yeah, four goals. Just incredible.
Well, can we call it like a 3+1?
Yeah, okay. All right. Why do you want to call it a 3+1?
Listen, I mean, a goal's a goal, of course, but an empty netter is an empty netter.
Okay, fair enough.
There's no one stop. I mean, and to be honest, and swinging back in his favor with it. I mean, that was a heck of a shot. I mean, he flung he flung it from the red line, a line drive, in the air, hit the back of the net, never even touched the ice. It was a great shot.
Yeah. And on an even, kind of an even bigger picture, Buffalo, had lost 6 games in a row,
Right.
and nothing helps to re-energize a team like a win, a big win like that.
Yeah.
I will, kind of maybe put the asterisks up there. It was against Ottawa, but
Right.
and it was a good look for him. He's the face of that franchise, and hopefully Buffalo is able to build on that momentum. But
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting. Actually, and of note, it's the 4th 4-goal game this season. So David Pastrnak, Anthony Mantha, and James Neal were the 3 other players already this season. We're a quarter of the way, So
Wasn't McDavid's 6-point night the other night 4 goals, 2 assists, or was it 3 goals, 3 assists?
I believe it was 3 and 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure that was 3 and 3.
That was okay. I'm sure you're right on that one. Yeah.
Could be wrong. It would be highly doubtful, but
Not you.
could be wrong.
Not you. Don't mess it up. I'm setting
Yeah.
you up. All right. So what else we got?
So let's stay with goals. Steven Stamkos, 400th career goal.
He's an interesting cat, man. I like him as a player. I like the fact all the adversity he's faced, the injuries, the comebacks, still looked at as a very big leader of that team, obviously. Um, but he's more like that quiet leader. He doesn't do it with flash. He does it with consistency, and I just get a different vibe from him as far as how he leads his team on the ice. He just leads it quietly, puts in the effort, works hard, and just leads by example. And it's not flashy. He's not something that he's not a flashy guy. He's not putting it out there. He just quietly does his job and does it well, night in, night out.
Yeah, I mean that pretty much sums it up. He's not a big face in the league.
Right.
I think that there was a lot of expected of him when he first broke in. I think he found his stride, but he's consistent, and he's got a wicked slap shot from the face-offs dot. Loves to camp there, especially on the power play. But yeah, no, it's good. Unfortunately, Tampa didn't pull out the win during the game, but 400 goals is pretty incredible, and he's the 9th active player to reach 400 goals.
Yeah, that's good for him.
Yeah, and only Alex Ovechkin did it faster.
Yeah,
so that's pretty good company there as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, we'll stay with another kind of a happy note. Joel Quennville. 900th NHL head coaching win.
That's huge.
It's only the second coach in NHL history to get 900 regular season wins.
Good for him.
Yeah, I mean that
coach,
guy,
solid coach. I'm glad he's found. I look at his appointment to Florida as almost like a second opportunity, in a sense, in the same way that Trotz with the Islanders. You take a coach who's won a cup like Quennville. You take Trotz and Quennville, right? Nobody really. I still don't know the true backstory between why Washington and Trotz never really kind of came to terms, contractual terms. But I think what played to Trotz's favor was that he walked away from the game almost in a sense like he was just done, like mentally. He was just like, okay, I'm done. And Lamoriello reached out. They talked. And everything was on Trotz's terms. It was just like, hey, listen, I'm good. I just want a cup. I'm spending more time with my family now. If you want me, it's got to be this, And he was very comfortable with, I'm sure other teams contacted him, but Trotz got to pick a team that was young, a ton of potential, needed some guidance. And I feel like that's exactly what Quennville is providing in Florida. Florida's got some young talent. They have potential. They have depth. And they need some guidance. And they haven't been guided well. And I think it's two similar situations.
Yeah, it's spot on. Quennville, 3 cups with Chicago. So he's definitely got the pedigree. And he the only person who has more wins as a head coach is Scotty Bowman, who's already in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. I think Quennville's a lock. I really don't think there's going to be any doubt that he's going to make the Hall of Fame. But he's still active, and just as you said, Florida is up and coming. They've been slowly building, but they're getting there, and they've got a heck of a GM and a heck of a head coach. 2 guys that were instrumental in the Cup wins in Chicago. And to be honest with you, I think Chicago letting him go was really better for him than it was for the team, because Chicago's on the decline.
Oh yeah,
and whereas he moved to Florida and he's got a good gig.
Yeah, so. Definitely, I agree. Good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so now staying in the coaching lane, but kind of shifting more towards the negative, and really the negative. So Toronto Maple Leafs. Holy cow. Mike Babcock, I read something on the internet, was a comment that said you probably couldn't pull a pin out of Mike Babcock's tuchus right now, as frustrated or as perilous as his job is.
And this is the highest paid coach in the league
Yeah,
by a lot.
yes, absolutely. This was all over television and the news media. Where is Mike Babcock going to sign? Which team is he going to go to? I mean, it was kind of like that really high profile free agent player, but that's what we got with Babcock. So what makes it even worse for him is it's Toronto, right? I'm surprised that they haven't dragged him through the streets yet, with tarring and feathering him. They just lost to Pittsburgh 6-1. They have 4 wins in their last 15 games, and they've allowed at least 4 goals in each of their past 4 games. They haven't had Mitch Marner. They threw a rookie, a 26-year-old rookie, in the net named Kazimir Kaskisuo. Kaskisuo, yep, that's right. And he was the best player in the ice despite getting lit up with 6 goals. Yeah. The team in front of him just didn't look energized. They really played as if they wanted to get the guy fired. And it's the fact that it's Toronto. I mean, Babcock, they asked him what has to happen. He said, well, we have to play harder. I don't think it's harder. I think it's you have to play better. Toronto's goaltending situation is horrible. They brought this rookie up because they just have so much money invested, and they just don't have anybody that's able to spell Anderson. And they're 0-5-1 this season when Anderson doesn't start. So you can't ride a goalie 82 games. It's just not going to happen. And so they've really got to figure that out. And at the same time, the players in front have to give support. So
right.
Funny thing, I want to tie it back into the hat you're wearing.
Well, that's why, because we're talking Toronto, I had to put on my Islander hat before you know what's coming here.
Yeah. I mean, so let's how do you wrap that up with the leadership on the ice in Toronto?
Let me tell you, I if I had a penny for every meme in all the Islander forums that are circle around Tavares sitting on the bench, hanging his head, or breaking his stick against the goalpost in frustration, or just getting sucker punched by someone in a scrum, like it's just beautiful. It's just the.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine.
It's beautiful. It's poetry in motion. So, as I'll just quote, the Blue and Orange Army, we don't need you. That's all I'm going to say there. And it's listen, I'm not one of those JT bashers or this or that. I'm just having a little fun right now. But it's you would expect. I could see the side. And I have my opinions as far as that whole JT Islander split relationship. That's something we could discuss another point in time. But if you look, one of the arguments was that he was never a strong leader to begin with. He was a good player, but maybe not a strong leader. And you would think, being named the captain now, I think he's been named captain just based on resume, not on leadership qualities. Yes, good guy. Yes. The longest resume on that team, right, as far as a player is concerned, and the most accomplishments of any player on that team. But is he a leader, right? And if he's going to lead, he's got to step it up. He's got to listen, even if they're going to lose. There was a comment made the other night. Which team was it? Give me a second. No, there was a team. Oh, there was a team that was losing, but there was a player on the ice that was working his butt off. And in the locker room interviews after the game, the reporters were saying, like the reporters were asking the coach, and they're like, this is a leader on our team. Like that's what we expect. We're down. We have no chance of maybe getting back into this game, but he's working his butt off. He's showing people like never give up, that never give up attitude, And can I say that Tavares is that type of player? No. I mean, I, I I think he fought if the rest of the team would fight. And that's just from what I used to see with the Islanders. But he's not the one who would create that spark. I didn't see him going to the guys and shaking them or yelling at the guys on the bench or being that spark. And that's one thing that I might be a little bit critical with him about. But he's got to be that guy. That captainship has to be something, you know. And I'm surprised that a guy like Babcock, who has been a little bit more of a fiery coach in the past, and you've seen him get fired up toward his players. How come he's not getting like? You just see that fire missing across the board. It's just there's something going on there. It's really weird, and you know, I can't explain it. But when you look at the highest, like you said, you take the highest paid player, $6.25 million a year. Next highest paid coach is what, 5.25, which is Quennville. Good for him, right? So I mean, you have Babcock getting paid a whole $1 million more, and this team is on a downward trajectory, and things do not look good. And I think, although it's nice to name Tavares, I think it's a safe naming of a captain where everybody can kind of look at it and be like, okay, Tavares, he got the captainship. Okay, we get it. It makes sense, this and that. But if you take a step back and really analyze him, which Toronto, I don't think, has enough time to do, just the Toronto fan base. The Islanders have had plenty of time to see it. But I don't think the Toronto fan base is, and now this is the time. This is what defines the character of your captain. What kind of captain is he? How is he going to lead this team through this patch? Maybe he'll change. But I don't see him firing up his guys. I don't see him being the guy who wants to be the spark for that team. So it's unfortunate for him and for the fans. But I got off track from Babcock a little bit there.
No, I mean, I think...
it's all happening under Babcock's watch. So this is on Babcock. It ultimately all trickles up.
No, I mean, I think you're spot on. Really the coach has a lot to do with how the roster is assembled and really how they want the players to play. But I, having interviewed several coaches, I've heard oftentimes that it's not the coach's job to get the players fired up. Right, they're being paid to play. They are grown men. They should be able to get fired up themselves. So, which is why you can get a lot of quiet leaders. Right, they lead by example. But there's there is something to be said though for leadership in the locker room to speak up and to push guys and say, look, we're not playing the right way. We've got to do something here. Right. And if John Tavares isn't that guy, well, then maybe he shouldn't be wearing the C. And I think to your point, that was a safe call on behalf of Toronto, where pressure is ridiculous already, just being that it's Toronto. So one last thing I want to hit on, not necessarily good or bad, is that Sidney Crosby is going to be out for 6 weeks. So again, the game is good the game is great when the best players are playing. So the absence of Crosby for any period of time makes the game just that much less. 6 weeks for core muscle surgery. Right. So it's amazing. He was on a pretty good tear. He's had it all season. He had it in the preseason. It's just been nagging him. And I think really, that he's just one more guy that sets NHL players apart from other sports and how they play through injury. Typically, you don't hear of players, playing through a lot of injuries at the beginning of the season. More of it's in the playoffs with punctured lungs and broken ribs and all that other stuff. But Yeah. So again, the best 200-foot player in the game won't be in the game for the next 6 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see how the Penguins recover from that. They've obviously got Malkin, who put up some points in the game yesterday. So it'll just be interesting. So that's kind of all I wanted to hit for the week. Unless there's just something else that you want to hit.
I think I'm good. I think the only thing left is we have the games that occurred today, being the 17th, but tomorrow for the November 18th, we have Anaheim and Washington. Who are we taking on that one?
Oh, Washington. That's easy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Arizona Kings, another easy one.
Arizona.
Yep. And then we move into the 19th, Minnesota Buffalo.
Whew. I'm going to go with Buffalo. I think they're going to ride the momentum from the last game and pull that out. Yeah.
Florida Philly.
I'm going to go with Florida on this one. Yep. Everybody should be beating.
I don't think Philly's going to bounce back well after that loss the other day.
Yeah, everybody should be beating Philadelphia. They're just not a tough team. I think we talked about this earlier in the week. Although they did go up 2 goals against the Islanders.
3 goals.
Or 3 goals, excuse me.
And Elliott, I mean, to his credit, the best player on the ice was Elliott. He stood on his head and did everything he needed to do to keep his team in the game, and had a shutout going. I mean, he was playing lights out hockey. He was just unreal, and credit to him. The shots and the opportunities the Islanders had on him for the first 2 periods were solid, and he just was sharp as I've ever seen him. He was incredible. And then that third period, everything broke down. Everything across the board, everything broke down. So the team broke down, and then that even more opportunities for the Islanders, and then he let in a tough one, and then it just the momentum just quickly went the other way.
All right.
Moving forward, we have the Devils in Boston.
Boston, best line in hockey, still clicking.
Yeah. Islanders, Pittsburgh.
I think we're going to split there. I'm going with Pittsburgh.
I think we play twice. I think we play Tuesday and Thursday of this week. I think we have 2 games against each other this week. So I think one's home, one's away. This first one on Tuesday. Where's this one on Tuesday? Do you know?
Good question. I'm not sure. I'm gonna check it out here. See what it says. Yeah, not tracking on it. That's all right. We'll figure it out.
All right. I'll take the Islanders.
Fair enough.
All right. Montreal, Columbus.
That's a tough one.
I'm going Montreal.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with Columbus on that one.
Here's a tough one. Ottawa, Detroit.
Detroit's got heart. They play with heart. I just don't think Ottawa's got anything left worth playing for. So I'm going to go with Detroit on that one.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you can flip a coin, but I'll go with Detroit. Another tough one, Tampa Bay and St. Louis. So
this should have been or could have been the Stanley Cup last year.
Yeah.
Really? And I think John Cooper, while I think his job is safe for the most part, I think there's going to have something happen there. St. Louis isn't quite living up to its potential, but this could be a good game that both teams could get up for. Yeah. But I'm going to go St. Louis. I'm going to say that St. Louis is going to win by 2. I'm going to put that down.
I'm going to go Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Winnipeg and Nashville.
Nashville. Winnipeg's back end just still isn't there.
Okay. Nashville. Carolina and Chicago.
Carolina. I'm going to go with the Canes.
Yeah, me too. Vancouver, Dallas.
I'll
go Vancouver.
All right.
On that one. Colorado, Calgary.
Colorado.
Yeah. Toronto, Vegas.
So I'm going to go with Vegas.
Yeah, me too.
If Fleury's in the net, he just put up 34 save shutout this evening, and they just beat Calgary. Vegas just beat Calgary 6-0.
Yeah.
So,
and Edmonton and San Jose.
If Edmonton keeps scoring at the pace they are, goaltending holds up, I'm gonna go with Edmonton.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And last but not least, who is currently the best team in hockey? Say it, Scotty. Say it. Say it, Scotty.
What is the criteria?
Say it, Scotty.
What's the criteria?
It's got to be.
Who's first in the league? It's Washington. They have 34 points.
Well, that's nice that they have 34 points. However, they have 34 points, right? They're 5 points ahead. 5 points ahead of the Islanders, right? Who are second in the league with 29 points. However, Washington has played 4 more games than the Islanders, and they only have 1 win more. So, who's the best team in the league?
Washington is the best team in the league.
Like I said, the Islanders are the best team in the league. Washington has had plenty of opportunities to, have more wins, and they've blown it. So the Islanders have, if you look at the rest of the league, okay, no one has 14 or 15 wins. So that's the Islanders and Washington, right? So the Islanders have 14 wins, and it's taken them 4 less games to get there. So
you're not going to get me to say it. So
say it, Scotty.
It's just not going to happen. Washington right now is the best team in the league.
So the Islanders, we're going to end with the Islanders being the best team in the league for now, as of November 17th.
That's your opinion, but sure.
Based on the stats that I'm looking at, which are factual.
Except for a number of points.
Okay.
Let's look at it this way.
Yeah. I'm looking.
Let's give the Islanders, I don't know, say 2 more games. We'll even give them 2 more wins. Just for I mean, you're still
the best team in the league.
No. Nope. Not going to happen.
How do you?
But let's not drag this out. You have your opinion. I have mine. They're not going to agree. It pains me to say Washington as a Penguins fan, but that's just how it is. So we'll see how the week shakes out, though.
All right. Well done. Good job tonight, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Good stuff.
And I think we're good for a few days, and we're gonna. For all 2 people that are watching this broadcast, be ready. We will be announcing a little bit more of a regular schedule to expect the broadcast and to anticipate and plan for and get the popcorn ready. So we will be putting that schedule out in the coming week or 2. So be ready for that, and hopefully we'll see everybody again in a few days.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you again. Everyone have a good night. Scotty?
As always, it was the pleasure was all yours, and we'll see you next time around.
All right. Bye-bye.